And now, only 2 more left. Ta-da! Before I say this, I need to just quickly correct something, because I said in an earlier one that's like, oh yeah, I've got, there's only 2 more left of this, and they're both on the things, but I couldn't find it. It turns out one of them wasn't on there, which was Jessica Jones Season 3, which is the last thing in it all. Meaning, after, also sorry if it's a bit wavy, there's wind outside and my thing's next to the blind, so I don't know if it's going to be moving. It doesn't move too much, but this might be a bit wavy. Anyway, so I just added it. That means the next thing that you might receive is The Punisher. And then there might be a bit of a gap until Jessica Jones Season 3. And then that'll be it of the Marvel Netflix things. It's been a bit, since each one of them, been quite a bit of a gap. But again, watching all of these is really interesting. And a lot of people were like, oh, but these were like some of the good sort of like Marvel shows compared to some shows now, which aren't as good, which some I get. Some I think like, yeah, it's good, it's just doing something else. Like, this is dark and more gritty. And when you see this, it is fun, and it is cool, and it is really interesting. But comparing that to what is next, definitely, I get why, like, Daredevil Born Again seems a little bit more, like, interesting compared to this, but I just take them as 2 separate things. But yeah. So with Daredevil, because I've already seen Born Again, which I said way before I really jumped it because I was really interested to see it, I already knew some things. I was roughly somewhat still watching season 1, so I was actively watching that, so getting spoiled on that while I was watching it, I didn't learn too much that I didn't know before. Kingpin's the villain, I already had a thing about that, and about that fight and how that's interesting. And the second season, I didn't really remember much when watching to when sort of being spoiled about it. But in this season, I kind of did know a bit more. I knew that he will come back, but I think that's obvious. You have a 3rd season and he died in The Defenders, which canonically is after this, so most likely he will come back somehow, unless someone else takes the mantelpiece. I did also know that it was something to do with the FBI, because in Daredevil Born Again, the character Bullseye, who in this turns out to still be alive, which is really interesting about the whole fight, and I knew about, and I've seen sort of like things about it, and then talking about how that affects his character, because the blood that was from Kingpin, that was on his famous painting, is a major thing in Daredevil Born Again. And Bullseye, who is an important character in Daredevil Born Again, starts off here and then comes back in Born Again, which again I think is really interesting, but because of that I already knew, but I still think it's really cool. The idea of like the sounds having a thing, and definitely when you first see his like little thing around Kingpin, I think it's cool and really interesting. Like, it shows that sort of like intimidation of like, I don't need to. Okay, I'm just gonna definitely. I think it's one that's like a ricochet where like you hit something else and hit something else and hits him. I also like the idea of slowly being like, what's going on, and like slowly being like good intentions. Like the idea of road to hell is made with good intentions. I also like the twist that you have. It's like, okay, I'm brought here with this person. I'm coming here to talk about how the crime is doing this and like this we need to do it. And all of a sudden you hear, oh no, don't do this. I'm like, wait, what? And then she shoots the other guy. And I'm like, what the? and uses that as like, oh no, it's your guys, this, that, the other, and we're gonna straight up blackmail you. And that I find is really interesting and really dark, but yeah. So I do like this, and I do find this fun, fully. I am gonna point out one thing, which is retrospective, because I am watching this coming out of watching Daredevil Born Again first, which uses season 3 a lot in certain parts, because like, oh, how does, if Kingpin has all these things against him, how is he the mayor of sort of like New York? Well, it's because of certain story threads that were from season 3, which was basically the FBI made it muddly, and because of the suspicious activity that's in Daredevil Born Again, that by the end of the series was highlighted, a lot of the stuff was sort of like, well, we can't really do much and it's really interesting because of that. Because of that, what really is going on, what is really happening, I love it. It's so fun, it's so interesting, and brings to light this sort of like idea of like corruption, in that being like the Kingpin was doing these things to like advance the FBI, and then the FBI, it's so fun, and I like how those two seasons connect. But it's not really connected to this one tonight. This is on retrospect because I watched Born Again before this one. So yeah. A little update here. If you want to do any voting and I'll mention anything here, yeah, I've got Patreon. So yeah. The only other thing that I would mention is this, which is Big Bang Theory. That's tomorrow. We're going to talk about that. Which, there will be explanation in that, but yeah, we're going to do that tomorrow. Actually, today. This was meant to be yesterday, but yeah. Hope you enjoy, and technically good night, but it's technically 12 a.m, so it's not a good night, but anyway, I do it anyway. Good night!